Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to Mindset Monday. We are now on episode 3. We have took a little bit of a break. That is just due to work and being extremely busy with the community and within personal life. So we're deciding to bring it back. It won't be every week, but we're aiming for every 2 weeks. If we can make it every week, then fantastic. But we can only do what we can for the time being. So today I'm joined with Sleepsy, Nino, aka Nathalie. And we're just going to be talking about some of our experiences, some of our life's obstacles, and see, openly talking about them in an open environment. And remember, this is not edited in any way, shape, or form, only apart from the music that's in the background. So, do you want to introduce yourself, Nathalie? Nervous. So what's your do you want to talk about your full name, or so you called Nathalie? Where are you from?
I'm from Sweden.
Okay, and how did you find Expand?
I was just looking on the 5M server list for a new 5M server, and I found the expand server, and I was like, oh, this seems like a nice place.
Okay.
And I tried it out, and after the first time I tried it out, I really enjoyed it, so I decided to stay.
Okay, and do you remember the first time that you actually joined Expand? Do you know when that was?
No, I really don't remember.
No.
No? Do you?
Yeah, I done a little bit of digging before we joined, and it was actually in August of 2020, so midway through lockdown, I think that was.
Yeah.
That you joined, which is quite a long time ago. Obviously at the start of the community, we had some experiences where the mental health aspect really wasn't a thing due to previous owners. So this was when we first started to start implementing it. And believe it or not, Nathalie, Nino, aka Sleepsy, was actually one of the first people to openly talk about mental health within the community, which is an amazing achievement for me. Not only for me, for her too, which I'm really thankful for her being a part of the community and being able to openly share her experience and obstacles with mental health, which was amazing. So what made you like Expand? Is there anything specific that made you really sort of go, I like this place?
I mean, the first thing that made me go like that was the people I met.
Yeah.
Because, like, during that time, as you know, I was struggling a lot with a bunch of things.
Yeah.
And I started talking to a lot of people about my issues. And everyone was very helpful. They gave me advice. They were there if I needed to talk to someone.
Yeah, and what sorts of obstacles would you say that you've been dealing with? Like, so, say for example, obviously now we've made so much progression in the past, year and 3 months now, November, past year and 3 months. So, when you first came into Expand, do you feel like your mental health has improved massively, or do you feel like it's maintained, or do you think it's decreased? How do you think it's improving, or do you not feel like it's improving at all?
I mean, I feel like my mental health is improving, like, in a good way.
Yeah.
Is now I can finally openly talk about my issues to people.
Yeah.
And get my advice and my help that I sort of need.
So do you feel like it's a very non-judgmental environment? Like you can openly talk about it and you won't have any backlash from it?
Exactly, like you can talk about anything and nobody's going to be rude to you. Everybody's going to be there for you.
So it's sort of daily now that we see you in main chat, and within main chat, for those who don't know, it's a group discussion with every member of the community, and it's been such a huge success that every morning pretty much about 10%, 20% of the server say good morning to each other. We wish everyone a good day, make sure that they go out, smash wherever they do, and come back home, and we'll be there for them again to keep chatting away. So Nino does this daily, and it's such a good eye-opener and such a motivator of a morning, seeing Nino in this group discussion and being able to say, Nino is having a good day, and that's going to inspire me to do the same. And it does, not just for me, but also many members of the community, which is fantastic. So what sorts of obstacles is it that you deal with, Nino, at the moment? Is there anything that you feel that stands out for you?
I mean, it's mostly my depression. I am not diagnosed with depression, but you can tell that I have, like, similar to depression, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. Do you feel like you find it quite hard to be happy sometimes?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's completely understandable. Absolutely. And obviously, we had the conversation a long time ago in regards to professional help, and we actually pushed you to do that and encouraged you to do it, and it's worked as far as I'm aware. It's been such a huge success for it. To be fair, Nino, Nathalie overall has been a huge success story for us, because she is exhibit a prime example of someone who is in the community and feels open to talk about literally anything. I'm very proud to say that she's a part of the community. So I really, this could be a completely spinball. I'm not expecting a yes or no answer from it. But if you just want to go into some detail, do you feel like anxiety can come with depression? So do you feel like you feel very nervous in certain situations when you are feeling slightly low?
Yeah, I do feel that.
Yeah. So obviously a while back, prior to this discussion, we actually had the conversation where we've been able to agree with each other that we can talk about physically anything, and it's a completely non-judgmental space. So prior, it was actually in 2020, we had a conversation where you said that you felt like you couldn't really go outside, so you were struggling to go to the shops, and you felt really anxious to go to the shops, which there's nothing wrong with that at all. But how do you feel like you overcame that?
I overcame that by pushing myself.
Yeah.
Because usually when I went out to the store, like our store is 5 minutes away from our place. And some days I was like, okay, today I'm leaving my phone and headphones alone.
Okay.
At home, and I go to the store and see how I do. If it didn't work today, then we try another day.
Okay.
And I just kept on going until I felt like, okay, today I can leave my headphones home. I don't need them today.
Yeah. So do you feel like you're doing the baby steps sort of discussion that we had in regards to? So in this example, Nathalie was struggling to leave the house to go to the shops. So we had the conversation, didn't we, where we said, why don't we, over a 2-week period, each day, one day we'll step on the doorstep and we'll stay there for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, which is the distance of walking to and from the shop. And then the day after that, we'll do that with a pair of headphones, and we'll walk down the end of the street and back. And then we implemented this sort of pattern where you saw progression in what you were doing, and your end goal was getting to that shop, and you've done it with complete success. So do you feel like the baby step process would work for other people too?
Yeah, I do feel like the baby step process works, like, for anything.
Yeah.
Even if it's just going outside, it's gonna work for you if you're struggling with eating or anything else. Do baby steps. You're not gonna go anywhere if you rush through it.
Yeah, completely agree. And I feel like once you see a slight bit of progression, it motivates you to get up that next day, and do that little step extra, where you may feel like you're reaching out your comfort zone, but that's what you've got to do to reach the end goal of getting to the shops, which I really like. I like that. Yeah. And what sort of music was it that you were listening to when you were going to the shops? Out of interest, because I've had this conversation with a lot of people, and it's like some people listen to rock music to like keep them motivated and the blood pumping, but some people listen to like lo-fi music, which is really relaxing and soothing. What is it what's your preference?
My preference is either like lo-fi or rap, I would say.
Okay. Any specific rappers that you listen to?
Not really. It's just a bunch of random rappers.
Okay, that's fair enough. I like it. So, obviously we've talked the whole baby step process, which was really good. Is there anything that you used outside of the baby step process that sort of helped you?
I mean, I used it on many things.
Yeah.
Other than just going outside, like trying some new food. I do that. Okay. Like, maybe I'm very picky with my food, as some people might know.
Yeah.
And then if I want to try something new, I take a tiny bite, or I put it on my plate and try it. and keep on doing that with different foods
That's
to
good.
challenge myself.
Yeah, right. That's really interesting, actually. So do you feel like that the whole baby step process, you try and implement it in every bit of your life, not just the mental health aspect?
Yeah, in every bit I can that I need to improve.
Yeah.
I've tried the baby steps.
Okay. And we talked about a while back about that morning mindset, not Monday mindset, morning mindset, which was about getting up of a morning and setting yourself some goals. So what application you said that you use an application on your phone?
Yeah.
And what's that called? Do you know off the top of your head?
It's a app that's called Goals, and it's purple.
Yeah. Okay.
That you can download on your phone,
Okay.
and you get different like choices if you want them daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, and you can put into 5 to 10 different goals you want to achieve.
Oh wow, right, okay. And that really helped, did it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the best way to explain this is when you wake up of a morning, the best thing that you can possibly do is make your bed. Now, at first, Nino didn't agree with me at all on this, and it basically puts your mindset in a positive, progressive way. You wake up as soon as you made your bed. I've done something today. Let's go into the next thing. So your daily goals we had was making the bed, brushing your teeth, getting dressed, having a bite to eat, and stepping outside for 10 minutes. Now, for some people, very simple goals, but for others, they are very advanced sort of things that they want to achieve, and that really helped Nathalie in the process. And it's really good to see that it works. If Nathalie can do it, anyone else can, and I feel like that's what you want to encourage, isn't it? You want to help other people. You can say, I've been there, I've done that, let's do it together and help others, which is amazing. It's super cool.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. So we're going to go into a bit of a touchy subject.
Okay.
which was about the situation that we had. Well, it feels like a long time ago now, but it sort of was at the same time. It was December, was it?
Yeah, December, November last year, I think.
Yeah. So, are you more than happy for me to talk about it?
Yeah, you can talk about it. It's good.
Yeah. By the way, for legal reasons, we have discussed that we can't talk about anything. I just want to make sure that we're still okay to go ahead with it. So, Nathalie approached us. It was about 12 o'clock at night, midnight, wasn't it?
Yeah, somewhere around midnight.
Yeah, it was a Friday night, and I remember this like to perfection. It was probably one of the first times where everything that we were doing really had to come into play. So, for example, this did happen. We were all in a voice channel together, which is a group call, and there was about 10 of us within this call, and Nathalie actually disconnected from the call. Now, we didn't know where, and me and my staff manager and partner in crime, and probably one of the best people that you'll ever meet, Wes, aka Goldhammer, me and Goldhammer Wes received a message from Nathalie, basically expressing that she was really struggling, which was it was an eye-opener for us because we weren't expecting it at this moment in time, because everyone was having a group discussion, we were all having loads of fun, plenty of banter, and just providing that really good feeling within the call, which Nathalie went off and left the call and sent us this message. Now, at the time, me and Wes disconnected from the call. We got into another call, just me and him, and we discussed the situation over. We then invited Nathalie to discuss, and what we try and do at Expand is we try and use our video cameras to the best of our ability. So in a sense of, you can see someone else's emotion within the situation, and judge how the environment is around people, which is, it sounds ridiculous, but what you're able to do is, if there is a situation where someone is really struggling in regards to anxiety, you can witness if they're having a panic attack, and you can see the sort of the fluctuation of breathing, and it's a really good method, which I think, in my opinion, that big corporations such as mine and others should implement, where instead of phoning someone, as much as they have that feature, have the ability to video call someone. So for example, I wanted to call Mind Up in regards to, I was having a really bad panic attack and I wanted to just talk to someone who was willing to listen to me. I think it'd be a really good opportunity where these corporations and huge, amazing, successful businesses could say, I want to talk to someone, but I want to also see their emotion in regards to that. And it's really good to see someone that cares on the other side, and that's from experience. I've openly talked about certain things, and being able to see someone's expression of empathy, I think that's a really good opportunity. So yeah, anyway, sorry for rambling. Nino approached us and basically said, you know, I'm really struggling, I just need someone to talk to, and you're blubbering with tears, and you came to us and we got you into this call with me and Wes. And me and the beautiful man himself, Wes, we both had our cameras on and we encouraged you to turn your camera on. And at first, you were very against that. And do you remember why that was? Or did you just feel, because you were fairly new to the community at the time, you'd only been in the community then for about 4 months, so you were still sort of finding your feet. Did you feel anxious about pressing that video camera on button?
I mean, I think mostly that I didn't want to put the camera on is because I don't like to show my emotions, and I generally don't like talking about emotions.
Yeah.
So I guess I was trying to hide it as much as possible.
Right, okay. And do you feel like you've improved in that sense, in regards to, you feel like now, you're on Mindset Monday, so you feel like you can openly now talk about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always good. So, yeah, you came to us and we encouraged you to turn your camera on. You eventually turned your camera on after a lot of to and fro and a lot of mutual agreements of what we can do, and a lot of bartering, and you put your camera on, and I'm not going to go into any fine detail, but we could witness that you were in life-threatening in danger at this point, and it's a huge shout out to 2 other members of the community within this call. I've not actually said that I was going to talk to yourself, Nino, yet, but I'm hoping when they see this video they can see it with pride and a smile on the face there. A gentleman called Doe, aka Victor, and Andreas, who were amazing supports, and at the time a virtual shoulder to cry on for Nino, and that Nino actually approached them as well as myself and Wes, and they were also extremely supportive over a message, which is amazing to say that other members of the community do it just as much as the people who run and own it, which is fantastic. So a huge shout out to them. But when you turn your camera on, we could see that you're in life-threatening danger. Now at this time, me and Wes were having a conversation to and from, in direct messages, in a sense of, we saw that you're in a life-threatening danger and we encouraged you to move a certain object. We're not going to say what that object was. Thankfully we can laugh about it now, but at the time it was a very it was a scary
I remember how you guys was very worried about the situation.
Yeah.
And I remember I left the call for a tiny bit. Do you remember that?
Yeah, so Nino decided it was the best time for her to go disappearing for about 2 to 5 minutes. And these 2 to 5 minutes, I swear to God, they felt like hours. They felt like absolute hours. I'm there, I'm trying to ring Nino. I'm trying to Snapchat Nino. I'm like, answer the phone, come back to the call. And at this time, the video camera is on. And thankfully, we can see the object was on the desk. And then I looked at my phone, and I looked back, and the object was no longer there. As I'm sure the people watching this video can imagine, this is an extremely scary time, in a sense of we do not know how this situation could unfold. We wanted nothing but the best for Nino, and we wanted to see improvement from this point. So when Nino came to us with this situation, it was it was unique because we never dealt with such a serious obstacle before, because it was very one for us that we've never experienced. We just want to see improvements in Nino and Nathalie, and we really did from this point onwards. So thankfully, right now you're watching this and everything was okay, so we can now talk about it with a smile on our faces of something that we overcame. So this obstacle went missing, and at the time, me and Wes began to talk openly, away from direct messages, about the situation. And we basically discussed the situation over in our heads, in a sense of, we were on a call with you, we were doing all we could to help you, and during this call we were also discussing professional help, because as much as it's good us talking about it, and it does help, we both know that it really helps, we needed to provide you some form of professional help. At this time, one of us on the call were qualified to provide mental health qualification training and provide the support that you needed. But sometimes being qualified for it and being a certified professional, two different opposite scales of the spectrum, and we try to encourage you to reach out to professional help, which now you have. But within this time, me and Wes began to talk openly about it. Was it originally a bit of panic? There definitely weren't panic. There was definitely haste in what we were doing. We were definitely trying to speed up the process, and we were trying to get in touch with Nino, to a point of we tried to reach out to Andreas, who, I don't even know, was he living far from you at the time?
I don't know. He didn't live that far away from me. I think it's probably 1-2 hours, something.
So we had a conversation. We reached out to Andreas and said, we're in a real predicament, because we wanted to really help you, and we wanted to keep everything in a controlled environment, because we didn't know if you at this time were talking about Andreas about the situation that was happening on your camera, or you were just upset. So we didn't want to go out and, not publicly, but bring someone else into the equation when they may not need to be. So instead of doing that, me and Wes used the incentive of Nathalie originally joined our 5M server, which is a gaming platform that we use that people can play games together on, and it's actually a really good opportunity for people to meet others. So Nathalie joined originally in August, and we went all the way back to August, and we got your IP address from when you originally joined the server.
Really? That's what you did?
Yeah. We didn't tell you this, but we got your IP address, and then we also attempted to contact Swedish police when we eventually tracked down, Swedish ambulance and medical service, when we eventually tracked down your location and your address using your IP address. Now, granted, we didn't get a house number, but we had a road to go off. Now, if you remember, your camera is on and your curtains were actually open at the time. Now, the setting that you're seeing now, Nathalie is at her boyfriend's house, but her setting originally, there was a TV, a doorway, and the doorway was open, and we could see out to see a window. Now, it was pitch black at the time, but we were using Google Maps to see what we could see out of that window, to try and identify a house number. So this was like Sherlock Holmes, Mission Impossible shit. It was all over the place, but we got to a point of where it was down to 2 house numbers, and then we got in touch with the Swedish medical services, and the moment that we got the number for them in your local area was the time when you came back. So we went through all that for you to come back, which I wasn't, I didn't even care about what we'd just been through. It was more so the fact of that we knew you were safe, and you came back and you confirmed that that obstacle was downstairs, back in the kitchen, and you were willing to then listen to us, and we were willing to discuss and make some goals for ourselves. I'm getting a bit a lump in the throat moment now, but it was such it was a scary experience for me, because it was the first time that I've experienced it firsthand. Granted, I've done a lot of sort of research and investigation in cases like that, where that does happen, but doing it firsthand and seeing you come back to the camera was the most heart-filling experience of my entire life, which I'll never forget. Because there'll be times when I'll be thinking to myself, like, I really can't get out of bed today. I really don't want to go to work. But I'll always think back to that moment and how amazing that feeling was when you came back and you said, I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to get professional help. And from that point then, we have been onwards and upwards. And it's been such an amazing experience for us as a community and as a friend. Granted, you are internationally across the world at the moment, but I'm sure some point on the Expand Tour 2020, it may be happening. We will be able to actually meet each other in person when we do visit Sweden next year as a community. I am just so thankful that we're able to have this conversation now, and we are able. I
also remember that I was very stubborn that night. Do you remember how stubborn?
Was an understatement. Stubborn was an absolute understatement. We could not get Nino to listen to us in any way. I'm not listening, and it was like having a conversation with a 3-year-old child. I'm not listening to you. I'm gonna stand my ground. It was. We were just trying to do everything that we can, and eventually, Nino caved in with tears rolling down her face, and she agreed that she was willing to accept the help that she rightfully deserved.
I was so stubborn in the beginning before I agreed with you.
Oh, you were always stubborn. You always have been. You never listen to no one else, just yourself.
No.
But obviously, we're now looking at the situation, and we're 10 times better. We're not endangering our lives. We're enjoying our lives from that point onwards, and we're looking onwards and upwards from it. So we really appreciate that. As one friend to another, it was amazing to be able to be a part of your journey and overcome the obstacle. And granted, we're not at the end of the road yet. We have not jumped the last hurdle, but we are definitely in a better position now than we were 11 months ago. That night, yeah, most definitely. But do you feel like that was the lowest point for you? Do you feel like that was probably, you felt like you had no other option, that was sort of your last thought?
That was one of my, I have had many low points like that, but that was the lowest point I've felt in many years.
Yeah. And that it's completely understandable to have that thought process. And what it's mad because I said this to you on that night, and I'll reiterate it within the call now and within this video now, in a sense of life is like a bouncy ball. It really is like a bouncy ball. Now, when the moment you drop that bouncy ball, the bouncy ball being your life, when you drop that bouncy ball and it hits the floor is the lowest point. Now, on that night, that bouncy ball was at the floor, and that day after that night, when we started to look for professional support and reach out to people, that bouncy ball started to come back up, and the bounce effect started to happen, and it's slowly reaching that point of where you dropped it again, to where that bouncy ball is in your hand, and you are at fulfillment of happiness again, and fulfillment of just contentness, and it's such a good feeling that we were there for you when that bouncy ball hit the floor, and we're also going to be with that bouncy ball hits where you dropped it, and the foreseeable where it goes surpasses the point of where you dropped it, and we're going to make the improvements and put the stops in to make sure that we never get to that point of where that bouncy ball drops again. So, is there anything else that you'd like to discuss, Nino?
I mean, I also remember why I was so upset that night,
Go into it, let's talk about it.
So, as some people in Expand might know, my grandma passed away in 2013, as some people might know.
Yeah.
I know. And that really hit me hard because my original mother, the person who birthed me, really, she wasn't a mother. She neglected me and my brother every day, and until my grandparents came. So I always referred to my grandparents as my parents.
Yeah.
So that year when she passed, it was it was a really heartbreaking year.
Yeah.
And even though it's been many years from that, I'm still suffering from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nothing I won't come over, really.
No, yeah. And that's completely understandable. It's a very hard subject. It's a very touchy subject. And, you know, a lot of people may look at that and think, you know, it was such a long time ago, but it hit so many people differently. And obviously your grandmother was such an important part of your life, and she sounds like such an amazing woman as well, and I'm assuming she's very much like yourself in regard to stubbornness, because I'm assuming that's where you get it from.
I must have got it from my grandma.
Yeah, I'm sure. And yeah, it's heartwarming for us to be able to talk about it, and for you to feel like you're in a position where you're able to openly talk about your mother. Sorry.
Because if you remember last year, I barely didn't want to talk about my family situation at all.
No, not at all.
I wouldn't spit anything about it to anyone.
Yeah, I remember very well, very well. And you know, we had a lot of conversations about it after you were willing to discuss. Finally, after all the weeks and months of trying, we finally got some talk out of you. And it was such an amazing experience, that as well, us being able to discuss it. Yeah, it really was, and I feel like now you've realised, and I've also realised that you've realised that you've got to progress. You know, you've got to make changes within your life to live it how you want to live it, and your grandma will always be looking down on you, and wanting you to live a life of fulfillment and happiness. And I know full well if she saw you now, Nino, and she does, by the way, she really does see you, that her heart will be fulfilled with the happiness, because you've got a smile on your face and you're still as stubborn as you were back in 2013. And it's really touching that you know full well that she's looking down on you, and it's now for you to make her proud, as you do already, and continue to do so day after day. And imagine how much of a smile she'd have on her face if she saw the progression that you made when you took those baby steps and you stood on your doorstep with your headphones in and you were listening to Eminem and all these rappers that you don't know what the name of are, which we are going to have a conversation after this about what rappers that you're listening to, because we've got a couple of good playlists there that you can give a go of. But how much her heart will be fulfilled with that content and happiness that her amazing granddaughter has overcome such a difficult obstacle within her life, and she now knows and is filled with pride that anything can be done by her daughter, her granddaughter. No, stuff it, her daughter. You are truly amazing, Nino. And I'm very proud to be able to call you a friend and a member of this amazing community. And I really appreciate you being a part of the return of Mindset Monday. Now, I'd love to have you on for another episode in the future, because these 30 odd minutes they've flown. If I'm being honest with you, they have really gone quick. Yeah, I really appreciate you being a part of episode 3. Is there anything else that you really want to say Before we.
It's also before I came to expand. You remember how stubborn I was? I didn't want to talk, nothing.
No, never.
Before I came to expand, the only person I was open about with my issues and my struggles was my boyfriend. I didn't talk to anybody else. I refused.
Yeah, and that's the amazing thing about it. The community is so it's non-judgmental. It is, unfortunately, with technology in today's society and social media, there's a lot of people who are reluctant to open up because of simply because of social media and the judgment within it. So to be able to say that we are a part of a community now that doesn't have that judgment, and people can openly talk without being, feeling like that. It's such a good feeling. Such a good feeling. But yeah, I really appreciate being a part of Mindset Monday and a part of the community. And if anyone else that's watching this video would like to be a part of one of the Mindset Monday videos, by all means, join the Discord. The link will be in the description of this video. Make sure to join it. Come and introduce yourself to the amazing Nino or Nathalie, and share your story. Talk to her, maybe even about this, what we've discussed, and she may be able to talk a little bit more in detail, and I'm sure we will do on the next episode, whenever that may be, in season 2 of Mindset Monday. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. This has been Expand Network, and my name is Sam. This is Nathalie, and a massive thank you to everyone that has been a part of this amazing community and journey. And make sure to drop this video a like, share it with a friend, make sure to subscribe, and never miss an episode of Mindset Monday and all the other activities that we get up to and try and upload onto YouTube. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you.